The Grand Hall of the Galactic Concord was a monument to millennia of peace and power, a shimmering spire of crystalline metal and swirling lights that refracted the countless stars beyond its panoramic windows. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in cold judgment, their eyes like polished gems, unreadable and eternal. At the center, Earth's ambassadors stood before the towering Council of Elders, their shoulders heavy with the weight of a planet's fate. Humanity, intomed the eldest, an ancient being whose translucent skin pulsed faintly with energy. You have been judged for your reckless expansion, violent conquests, and cultural contamination across our shared space. A ripple of murmurs swept through the hall. Your pleas for inclusion have been noted, the eldest continued, voice echoing through the chamber. But the risk you pose is too great. The Galactic Concord hereby sentences Earth and its people to permanent banishment, severed from the wormhole network, and cast beyond known space. The words landed like a death sentence. The humans exchanged desperate glances. Ambassador Lyra Kane's voice trembled as she stepped forward, her eyes blazing with conviction. You underestimate us. We are capable of growth, of peace. This banishment condemns not just Earth, but all of us to extinction. But the Council was unmoved. The banishment was unanimous. Outside the hall, billions of eyes across the galaxy watched the broadcast. On Earth, in a dimly lit apartment in New Chicago, a teenage prodigy named Eli Winters sat transfixed. His fingers clenched the edge of the console as the sentence echoed through his mind. They think we'll die out. They don't know humanity. Suddenly, the broadcast flickered. An anomaly. Amid the alien council's stately words, a garbled message burst through the static. It was indecipherable to all except human ears. Eli's eyes widened. He scrambled to decode it, heart pounding. To those who hear this, the banishment is not the end. The message repeated, each time clearer, a whisper of hope hidden in the void. Meanwhile, on Earth, protests ignited worldwide. Cities erupted in defiant rallies. The world was united not by fear, but by fiery resolve. Across continents, scientists, soldiers, and ordinary citizens alike resolved to prove the Council wrong. Back in the Council chamber, some elders exchanged uneasy looks. They had expected submission. Instead, they saw a species that refused to kneel. As Earth's night skies blazed with the aurora of renewed ambition, Eli's voice echoed in a small underground lab. We don't just survive, he said, voice steady despite his youth. We will rise. We will dominate the stars. The camera pulled back, leaving the viewer staring into the deep void where Earth was cast, an exile destined to become the galaxy's brightest flame. The wormholes closed one by one, the shimmering corridors between star systems severed by the Galactic Concord's decree. Earth was now an island in a dark ocean of endless void, cut off from the galactic community and left to face its fate alone. At first, panic swept the planet. Supply chains faltered, space stations lost contact with their fleets, and fear gnawed at the hearts of billions. Governments wavered, some collapsed under the pressure, while others lashed out in desperation. But from the chaos, a new force emerged, one forged in the crucible of exile. The Terran Accord was born, a coalition of the brightest minds and fiercest leaders, united by one purpose: to ensure humanity's survival and reclaim its place among the stars. In a subterranean bunker beneath New Chicago, Eli Winters stood beside Dr. Annika Vasquez, a former astrophysicist turned Accord strategist. They studied a holographic map pulsing with distant star systems beyond the wormhole network, unreachable by Concord fleets but ripe with possibility. We can't rely on old methods anymore, Annika said, tapping a blinking node labeled Dead Star 437. The wormholes are closed. But what if we could find a way through the void itself? Eli's eyes sparkled with determination. We have to. The Pulse Drive project is our best shot. The Pulse Drive was humanity's secret gamble, a revolutionary propulsion technology capable of bending spacetime without wormholes, allowing ships to leap through the void at unimaginable speeds. But it was untested, dangerous, and the prototype was fragile. Captain Mira Lang volunteered for the first mission. A decorated pilot known for her calm under fire, Mira's steely resolve was the spark humanity needed. The day of the launch, the world watched through fractured broadcasts, holding its breath as the sleek pulse-dry ship, the Phoenix, ignited its engines and vanished into a ripple of shimmering light. Weeks passed with no word. Anxiety gripped the Terran Accord. But then, a transmission crackled through. The Phoenix had reached Dead Star 437 and found something extraordinary. An object, ancient, alien, and emitting a faint but deliberate signal, rested in the star's shadow. Back on Earth, the discovery sent shockwaves through the Accord. Could this be a relic of the ancient Alcaean, a race rumored to have wielded power rivaling the Concorde? As scientists raced to decode the signals, Eli received an encrypted message from the pilot. "This is more than survival. It's our future." But the Concorde was not idle. Reports came in of covert Concorde patrols probing the outer edges, searching for signs of Terran resurgence. A silent war of espionage and sabotage had begun. In the midst of mounting tension, the Terran Accord held its first summit beneath the Aurora Dome in New Chicago. Leaders debated fiercely. Should they focus on rebuilding Earth's defenses, or push deeper into the unknown to secure new allies and resources? Eli stood before the assembly, his voice calm but unwavering. "We were cast out to die, but we are still here. Our exile is not the end. It's the forge in which we will temper our destiny. The stars beyond the Concorde's reach are ours to claim." As the summit closed, a new chapter for humanity began, one of risk, hope, and unyielding ambition. The void beyond Earth was vast and unknown, but humanity's fire burned brighter than ever. The Phoenix had not just survived its maiden voyage, it had shattered expectations. Using the revolutionary pulse drive, Captain Mira Lang and her crew slipped beyond the edge of the known galaxy, where no ship had traveled without wormholes. The stars out here were strange, cold, and distant, yet they pulsed with possibility. On the third day of their journey, an unexpected contact changed everything. A sleek, silver ship emerged from the shadows, its hull etched with unfamiliar symbols that shimmered like liquid light. The alien vessel hailed the Phoenix with a sequence of musical tones and glyphs. Mira's heart pounded as she decoded the greeting. The ship belonged to the Valori, a secretive species known only in whispered legends, outsiders who had once been part of the Concorde but vanished from its records after a brutal purge. The Valori captain, a being named Sil Kara, invited Mira's crew aboard their vessel, the Luminous Veil, for parley. Inside the Valori ship, the atmosphere was unlike anything humanity had experienced. Soft glows and fluid architecture seemed alive, shifting subtly to the presence of the guests. Sil Kara's eyes, large and iridescent, held a mixture of curiosity and cautious hope. "We know of your exile," Sil Kara said, voice melodic but tinged with sorrow. "The Concorde fears you because you are unpredictable. We too have suffered under their iron rule." Mira shared humanity's story, the judgment, the banishment, and the pulse drive breakthrough. Sil Kara nodded slowly. "Our people were scattered, hunted for resisting Concorde control. We hide in the shadows, building strength in forgotten corners. An alliance with you could change the balance." The Valori shared intelligence about a secret Concorde project, the Oblivion Array, a weapon capable of wiping entire systems from existence. Its deployment would mean galactic devastation on an unprecedented scale. Humanity's leaders knew the threat was real and immediate. Back on Earth, the Terran Accord scrambled to prepare. The new alliance with the Valori brought access to hidden star charts, advanced stealth technologies, and hardened warriors ready to fight for freedom. Yet trust was fragile. Some Terrans questioned the Valori's motives. Were they true allies or another faction seeking power? Meanwhile, Concord spies lurked closer, probing the Terran borders with increasing aggression. Sabotage struck key supply lines, and whispers of traitors within the Accord sowed seeds of paranoia. Eli Winters worked tirelessly in the research labs, decoding fragments of Valori technology while monitoring the growing political storm. His youthful optimism clashed with the hardened realities around him, but he remained unyielding. "The Concord fears us because we adapt," Eli told Annika. "They control wormholes and politics, but we hold the future in our hands. With the Pulse Drive and our new allies, we will chart our own path." As the Phoenix prepared to return with the Valori emissaries, a new chapter opened for humanity, not as exiles, but as pioneers of a wild frontier. In the dark expanse beyond the wormholes, a quiet revolution was stirring, a pulse of defiance, hope, and relentless will. Humanity's star was rising. The ruins of the Alkaean world lay silent beneath the fractured sky of an ancient, forgotten star system. It was a place no Concord ship had dared to visit in millennia, a graveyard of colossal structures half buried in ice and ash. Captain Mira Lang led a Terran exploration team through the crumbling arches of what once had been a vibrant city, its technology so advanced that even the Valori spoke of the Alkaean with reverence and fear. Rumors said the Alkaean had nearly destroyed the Concord before vanishing without a trace. In the heart of the ruins, the team discovered an immense chamber, its walls inscribed with flowing scripts and images of war and wisdom. At its center rested a dormant core, an AI construct, sealed for thousands of years, humming softly with life. As the team approached, the core awakened, casting blue light like a beacon in the darkness. The AI's voice echoed in their minds, ancient and resonant. "Prove your worth, children of the stars. Only those who understand the burden of power may claim the legacy of the Alkaean." The AI challenged them with tests of logic, ethics, and resolve. It probed their hearts, measuring not just intelligence, but compassion and restraint. Many on the team were uneasy. Was this a gift or a trap? Back on Earth, Eli monitored the data streaming from the site, his excitement tempered by caution. "This could change everything," he said, "but we must be careful. Power without wisdom can destroy us." Within the Terran leadership, a schism formed. A faction, led by Commander Dax Harlan, saw the Alkaean technology as a tool to dominate the Concord once and for all, a weapon to end the exile by force. Others warned against arrogance. Dr. Annika Vasquez argued, "We must respect the AI's tests. This legacy demands responsibility, not conquest." Tensions flared as the faction secretly attempted to bypass the AI's safeguards, risking catastrophic failure. One night, alarms blared throughout the camp. The AI, sensing the breach, activated ancient defense systems, energy barriers, and automated sentries, trapping the team inside. Captain Lang, torn between duty and survival, negotiated with the AI. She argued that humanity's future depended on learning from the past, not repeating its mistakes. The AI, after a tense silence, granted limited access to its knowledge, a trove of starship designs, energy weapons, and tactical strategies, all integrated with an advanced sentient interface. Yet, it warned gravely, "Power must be tempered by conscience. The path you choose will echo through the cosmos." The faction's coup was exposed and quelled, but the scars remained. Humanity had gained a powerful ally in the AI, but at a cost. The delicate balance between strength and morality had never been more precarious. As the team departed the ruins, Mira looked back at the sleeping city, feeling the weight of history pressing upon them. "We are not just survivors," she said softly. "We are the heirs of a legacy that could save or doom us all." Back on Earth, Eli's voice rang out over the Terran Accord's broadcasts. "We have touched the ghosts of the past. Now we must decide who we will become." The stars beyond awaited, silent and watchful. The outer rim of the galaxy was a place of darkness and danger, far from the polished halls of the Galactic Concord, where law was tenuous and secrets thrived. It was here that the Terran Accord began their quiet revolution. Covert teams moved like shadows between forgotten worlds, sparking uprisings among oppressed colonies and rallying fringe species disillusioned with Concord rule. These whispered rebellions spread like wildfire, breathing life into the dream of freedom. Yet, beneath the growing hope, a more insidious threat stirred. Within the heart of the Terran Accord, suspicion festered. Sabotage struck vital supply lines. Communications were intercepted, and trusted officers vanished without a trace. The possibility of a mole, someone feeding the Concord intelligence, sowed seeds of paranoia. Eli Winters sat in the dim glow of his lab, eyes scanning lines of code and intercepted transmissions. The pattern was subtle but unmistakable. Someone close was betraying them. He called in Captain Mira Lang, whose tactical mind was crucial to rooting out the threat. "We have to be careful," Eli warned. "The mole knows our operations well. If we move too fast, they'll vanish, or worse, strike." Mira nodded, her jaw tight. "We'll use the old spycraft. Misinformation, bait, and shadows." Meanwhile, a Terran agent named Kira Nellis led a daring mission on the Concord fringe world of Jaxar, a mining colony choked by exploitation and fear. Her team coordinated with local insurgents, planting communications relays and smuggling weapons. The mission was a success, but Kira couldn't shake the feeling that eyes were watching her every move. Back on Earth, political tensions within the Accord simmered. Some leaders pushed for a more aggressive stance, striking at Concord assets openly, while others feared provoking an all-out war humanity was not yet ready for. Amid this, Eli received a chilling anonymous message. Not all friends wear the same face. The mole's identity was revealed in a shocking twist. It was one of the Accord's most decorated heroes, Commander Elias Rohn, trusted by all, a symbol of hope. His motives were complex, a desperate attempt to protect his family held hostage by Concord forces. Confronted, Elias pleaded, torn between loyalty and fear. The council faced a harrowing decision: execute him as a traitor or use him as a double agent to feed false intel back to the Concord. The choice was agony, but Elias agreed to help, on one condition: his family's safety. Trust was fragile, alliances fragile as glass. As sabotage attempts escalated, Eli and Mira coordinated a counter-operation, setting a trap by leaking false plans of a major Terran strike. When Concord forces took the bait, Terran agents struck from the shadows, crippling a key supply depot and sending a clear message: humanity was no longer prey. But the cost was high. The mole's betrayal had shaken the Accord to its core. Whispers of doubt echoed in every corridor. In the darkest hours before dawn, Eli stood atop the command center, gazing at the stars. "We are hunted," he whispered, "but the shadows also hide us. In the quiet, we will grow stronger." The pulse of rebellion beat on. The colony world of Elidar sat on the ragged edge of Terran-controlled space, remote, rugged, and a thorn in the side of the Galactic Concord. Its sprawling mining complexes and fortified settlements made it a vital foothold, but also a tempting target. When the Concord launched a surprise assault, the Terran defenders were caught off guard. Explosions ripped through the air as fighters swarmed and orbital cannons hammered the surface. Panic flared, but the people of Elidar refused to yield. Captain Mira Lang rallied the defenders, her voice calm yet fierce over the comms. "Hold your ground. Every second we buys time for the fleet to respond." Terran troops fought with raw determination, improvised tactics, and unyielding spirit against better-equipped Concord forces. Amid the chaos, small bands of miners and civilians grabbed whatever weapons they could find, turning themselves into a guerrilla force. The battle was brutal. Buildings crumbled, fires raged, and the sky above Elidar glowed red with tracer fire. Every inch of territory changed hands multiple times. The Concord commanders expected an easy victory, but humanity's tenacity shocked them. In the midst of the carnage, a young boy named Jaron emerged, a scrawny, quiet figure who had lost his family in the opening bombardment. Yet something strange happened when he moved through the battlefield. Weapons malfunctioned near him, Concord sensors flickered, and for brief moments, the air seemed to hum with an unseen energy. Mira noticed. "Did you see that?" She whispered to her second-in-command, eyes narrowed. But Jaren himself seemed unaware of the power he wielded, a power that could turn the tide of war. The fighting reached a deadly crescendo as Concord forces breached the central command bunker. Mira led a desperate counterattack, rallying survivors in a last stand that bought enough time for the Terran fleet to arrive in orbit. Reinforcements descended like a storm, forcing the Concorde to retreat. The cost was staggering, dozens of lives lost, entire districts leveled. In the smoky aftermath, the colony began to rebuild, but the impact lingered. Eli Winters arrived soon after, his mind racing with possibilities. He met Jaren in a quiet corner of the ruined settlement, studying the boy's steady gaze. "You're different," Eli said softly. "Do you know what you can do?" Jaren shook his head, eyes wide. "I don't understand it. It just happens." Eli exchanged a glance with Mira. "We need to learn more. If this power is real, it could change everything." The victory at Elidar was bittersweet, a symbol of humanity's fierce resistance and a spark of something new, something evolution might yet bring. Back on Earth, broadcasts hailed the battle as a turning point, inspiring hope and galvanizing the Turan Accord. But across the stars, in the shadowed corridors of the Concorde, fear took root. A new threat was rising, not just from the rebels, but from humanity itself. Jaren lay on a cot beneath the dim glow of emergency lights, his breath steady, but his mind a tempest. Around him, scientists and doctors worked in hushed urgency, their equipment humming softly as they monitored his vitals and neural activity. Eli Winters stood nearby, his face a mask of fascination and concern. The strange phenomena during the Battle of Elidar had opened a new chapter for humanity, one that could tip the balance of power in a war thought to be fought only with steel and fire. But what exactly was this power? As the days passed, Jaren's abilities grew. The strange energy fields that once flickered erratically now responded to his will, disabling enemy sensors, scrambling weapon systems, even creating brief shields that deflected attacks. Yet, Jaren was still a child, overwhelmed by the burden. "We don't know where this comes from," Eli admitted during a strategy meeting with the Terran Accord leadership. "It could be a genetic mutation triggered by long-term exposure to the Alkayan technology, or something else entirely." Mira Lang listened intently. "If this power can be controlled, it could give us the edge we need to turn the tide." But with power came danger. The Concorde's intelligence quickly caught wind of Jaren's existence, and their hunts intensified. The child became the most wanted asset in the galaxy. To protect him, the Accord built a fortified sanctuary deep underground beneath New Chicago, a place where Jaren could train, grow, and learn control under the guidance of the best minds and soldiers. Here, Jaren met Annika Vasquez, who helped him understand the strange forces swirling inside him. She designed simulations and mental exercises to help him focus, teaching him how to channel the energy instead of being consumed by it. Slowly, Jaren began to master his abilities, but with every breakthrough came a new question. What was the true nature of this power? Was it a gift, a curse, or something far older? One night, in a rare moment of quiet, Jaren reached out with his mind and touched the dormant Alkayan AI core remotely. The response was immediate and profound. A flood of visions, ancient wars, civilizations rising and falling, and a warning. Beware the hunger of power. The void consumes all who seek to control it. The message unsettled Eli and the leadership. They faced a dilemma: how to harness this power without succumbing to it. Meanwhile, whispers spread of a hidden faction within the Concorde seeking to capture Jaren alive to weaponize his abilities. The threat was closer than ever. On the eve of a critical offensive against Concorde forces, Mira stood beside Jaren, now no longer just a frightened boy, but a symbol of humanity's indomitable spirit. "Remember," she said softly, "power isn't just strength, it's responsibility. You are our hope and our future." As dawn broke over the city, the Terran fleet prepared to strike, carrying with it not just ships and soldiers, but the promise of a new era. Jaren closed his eyes, feeling the pulse of energy within, awakening. The stars awaited their champion. The vast expanse of space above New Chicago thrummed with tension. Fleets from the Terran Accord and the Galactic Concord faced off across the void, a silent storm ready to erupt. But this battle was unlike any before. It was no longer just ships and weapons. It was the culmination of humanity's struggle, its spirit, and the mysterious power of a single boy. Captain Mira Lang stood on the bridge of the flagship Phoenix, eyes fixed on the holographic display of incoming Concord vessels. Beside her, Eli Winters monitored Jaren's vitals from the command center, the child resting in a sealed pod designed to enhance and protect his abilities. Suddenly, alarms blared. Concord ships advanced with brutal efficiency, their weapons primed to strike. The pulse of war surged. But then, a subtle shift rippled through the battlefield. Jaren's energy radiated outward, unseen yet palpable, a wave that disrupted Concord sensors and weapon systems, sending their precise assault into chaos. Mira grinned. "It's beginning." As the Terran fleet pressed their advantage, Jaren awoke within his pod, his mind flooding with newfound strength. He reached out, weaving threads of energy that bent space and light, creating shields that shimmered like liquid glass and bursts that disabled enemy craft without destruction. The Concord forces faltered, confusion rippling through their ranks. Their command issued orders to retreat, but the damage was done. Humanity's defiance was a beacon, a spark igniting hope across the galaxy. Yet, the battle was not won without sacrifice. Commander Elias Rohn, acting as a double agent within the Concord, led a desperate strike to hold back reinforcements. His final act bought the Terran fleet crucial minutes but cost him his life. His sacrifice echoed as a solemn reminder that the war demanded everything. On the ground, the citizens of Earth and its colonies celebrated victories and mourned losses. The Terran Accord's message was clear. Exile was not extinction. It was the forge of a new destiny. In the aftermath, the Galactic Concord, shaken and fractured, agreed to parley. For the first time, humanity was no longer cast out but recognized as a power that could not be ignored or suppressed. Eli stood beside Jaren as the child gazed up at the stars. "This is just the beginning," Eli said. "The galaxy is vast, full of wonders and dangers. But now we face it together, on our terms." Mira joined them, placing a hand on Jaren's shoulder. "You showed us what humanity really is. Not just survivors, but masters of our fate." Jaren smiled, the burden lifted by hope. His power was a legacy, not a weapon, but a bridge. The stars shone brighter that night, no longer the cold watchers of exile, but the canvas for humanity's rise. From banishment to dominion, humanity had carved its place among the stars. The galaxy was theirs to explore, to protect, and to change forever.